Good morning and welcome back to another podcast here on the Broadwater. We got Chris, we got Sam and myself, Jason, and today we're going to have a bit of a chat about generally what Broadwater is, why we're doing it, and you know what we're trying to achieve with this. Some people are a little bit confused about what this whole thing's about and why we're doing it, and we've had a lot of great feedback. We've had a lot of critical feedback, but that's also an extremely good thing when you're starting something new, so that you can improve and you start going on your way. The bit of critical feedback that we've had is you know, we're not sticking to one topic, and I want to address this because, you know, although we might cover a range of topics on our podcast and in our vlogs and the things that we're doing, there's one key theme. You know, Broadwater is all about cultivating positivity through health, wealth, and wellness. And now, I said this in the second vlog that we put up when Chris and I were standing on a tennis court. Those three things are going to mean three extremely different, you know, things to different people. You know, wealth to some people might mean money, it might mean knowledge, it might mean a wealth of different things. You know what I mean? Anything. Wellness, same thing. But when I think of wellness, and we covered this in our last podcast, it's about mental strength. And obviously health is our physical appearance and our physical strength, and, you know, just feeling good physically in our bodies that we carry around this world.
That's right.
So, but if you look back at all of our other podcasts, a huge thing we try to teach, and I think it's a huge part of, you know, those three pillars, is critical thinking.
Critical thinking is a big one.
Huge. So those people asking, you know, oh, you go off on different tangents and you talk about different things. Yes, we do.
Definitely.
Because it's a wealth of knowledge. We try to cover a lot of topics because, you know, there's a lot of things in the world. There's not just one thing happening. So within all of those topics, we've tried to sort of cultivate critical thinking about really try and understand what's going on in the world. Really try and see what that media article is trying to say, rather than just, you know, reading it and taking it at face value.
Looking behind the curtain, pulling the curtain back and looking at the cogs turning the wheel.
Yeah.
Essentially what we're doing.
Yeah.
Big time.
And, you know, we are trying to cultivate positivity. We're trying to do it in a positive way where it's not, you know, go down a rabbit hole about what life's all about and what the world's about. It's all about just, hey, think, understand, and mold your life in the way you want to go with it.
Yeah, it's about looking at things through a different lens. And I feel like when you meet up with people and, you know, you push your view forward, it's great to have an understanding of other people's viewpoints and take that on board to form your ultimate perspective.
Yeah.
It's a way to advance, you know, your consciousness and understanding of the world around you, and other people's perspectives can help drive you into further places in life.
And it's
how you grow.
It's dynamic. It's growth. Like, so many people get locked into a mindset, and it's limiting. What I try to do is just absorb as much information as possible without judging it and without locking into a strong opinion on it. You know, of course, you're going to have opinions bouncing one way or the other as you absorb information, but basically absorb an encyclopedia of information and then have an analysis and critically apply all of that information to then have decisions. And then if something else comes along that may oppose that or may expand on that, then that's going to adjust your decision on that. And to me, that's a massive aspect of critical thinking. It's trying to look at different sides of discussions and sort of be emotionally disconnected from it. Like, I'm not on that team. I'm watching these two teams, and I'll decide where on the spectrum I'll sort of land. The world's very polar at the moment. It's really about trying to teach people that you don't have to just jump onto that narrative and get all angry and upset and then, you know, you're being sold something.
The emotions that drive.
Yeah.
And mindfulness is a massive part of that, like, to control your emotion, because there's so much, like, mass hypnosis out there. Like, they try to trigger an emotion to get you to either click on this, buy this, or join this tribe.
Join this cult.
It's about having that mindfulness to identify your change in feeling when something happens, and then why did my feeling change? Oh, because of that. And then you're like, oh, okay, so that's what that technique was, and you're just kind of more aware. And you definitely hit and miss. Like,
100%.
You'll catch yourself and go, actually, for the last few weeks, I've been, down that rabbit hole and kind of didn't apply critical thinking. I drank the Kool-Aid, and then you sort of step back and then expand again on the thoughts, and then that just becomes another tool in your tool bag to life.
Definitely. And that applies to so many different things in so many different people's lives. The different paths they're going down. Everyone's going through something different at a different point in time. I think it's very rare to find, even amongst your friends, that are going through the exact same situation you are. Some have family issues, some have relationship issues, some have work issues. You don't know what's going on. So a whole part of what we're trying to do is just open your eyes and realize that there's so much more going on than just what's going on in your head. And the sooner you master that in life, and the sooner you can surround yourself with positive people and not the ones that are going to bring you down, and just try and analyze the world critically, you'll be happier.
Yeah.
I think for me too, it's about unlocking our potential. I think we get together and we really want to push to unlock our potential. We really want to challenge our views and perspectives to grow, and we want you to grow with us, and we want to hear your perspectives, and we just want to grow the community and spread positivity through health, wealth and wellness. That means getting into local businesses and promoting their businesses, people that are doing legitimate things for the world, genuine love, trust, passion for what they're doing, getting out, getting amongst that, getting involved in charities, people that are helping and doing good things for the world, like Aquaflux and those boys, where they did the 80K walk and we joined along with that. So we want to do a lot of that. And that is really, to me, just spreading love, care and passion for what we do.
That's it. And it's actually crazy. This is podcast number 11. So 11 weeks straight we've been doing this. It's changed my life.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to think that just getting a few flippin' mics and setting it up with two mates and talking could change your life so much. It has opened me up to a different way of thinking. It has opened me up to incorporating new people in my life, challenging myself physically, challenging myself mentally, and I'm getting addicted to how this feels.
Yeah.
It's challenging your comfort zone.
It's a good addiction.
My life's different because of what we're doing.
100.
And it's hard because everything you see online, it's always trying to be monetized.
There's an agenda with most
I
things.
think people don't quite understand that we're doing this to change our own lives. We're not doing it to make money.
Exactly.
And hey, down the road, will I maybe sell a hoodie or two? Maybe.
Yeah.
But that's not why we're doing this.
No way.
Like, I've had mates who actually have bought these hoodies because they genuinely like the design. They like what we're doing with Broadwater. But do you see me selling hoodies online? No. It's not what I'm trying to do here.
Yeah.
That's not what we're trying to do.
For me, a lot of the growth factors was learning how to communicate more about my feelings and becoming more vulnerable.
Yeah.
And that's a great way to connect with people. And what I've learned is we're all human beings and we all have the same insecurities and we all think the same. We all have these little kind of
little elephants in our heads.
Little elephants in the head that are like, maybe you shouldn't do that 80K walk.
Maybe you should stop.
There's so much like that in internal monologue that we all have.
100%.
And when you talk to people about it, they realize as well, and then you both kind of grow and connect through that conversation.
It's like that story of the two wolves, Sam, where you got to feed
that story.
Yeah. Got to feed the good wolf more than the bad wolf.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Positive vibes, baby.
It's
That's what we're about, And it's true. You always get these thoughts in your head, why am I doing this? What am I doing? I'm not good enough to do that, blah, 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 blah. You know the agenda. You know what's in your head. You can hear it.
Have you got a tattoo?
Me, no.
Like if I was going to get one, that would be pretty close.
The two wolves?
I got this friend, she drew like the wolf head with like the two different wolves and stuff. And I'm like, I could almost get that as a tattoo.
Yeah, yeah. But I think we just wanted to sum up, what Broadwater is all about for those people asking and that sort of thing. Just in one sentence, again, cultivating positivity through health, wealth and wellness, doing the best we can, talking about a range of topics to grow that wealth of knowledge and share with people and with you guys to sort of grow this community of people who want, let's be honest, who want a bit more out of their life.
Yeah, for sure.
And we are by no means experts or gurus or whatever the hell we are talking about.
it's
by any means.
It's impossible to change the world, really, but you can improve your community, and this is a
That's
chance
all we're trying to do.
connect good people with good people,
Yeah.
and try to put information out there for people to either absorb and apply in their life or not.
Yep. And if not, hey, that's fine too. If you just want to watch us to see
100%.
us suffer walking 80Ks, that's great too.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Much love for everybody who's supporting the channel, because, like,
100%.
you know, it's
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure, honestly.
it's not reflected much in like the views on the podcast or anything like that, but we all three of us have people hitting us up on the weekends going, oh yeah, no, my mate of a mate knows you because they saw you doing this podcast, or they saw you on this Broadwater thing and all this, and it's just, we feel like it's such a great thing to be connecting with all of these people, which if we weren't doing this wouldn't have happened.
Yeah,
no
big
way.
time.
Yeah, no way.
And if there's any topics you do want discussed or any questions, just
Yeah.
feed them in, and
We'll get
see
our
what we can
critical
do.
thinking on and dive into it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, good.
And
fun.
once again, if any of you out there are so inclined and you want to come and join us on a podcast or in a vlog, or, you know, just generally catch up with us and be a part of the community, that is exactly what we are trying to do here. So if you are listening to us and, you know, you're connecting with us on some level, right, just get involved. Reach out,
100%.
send us a message, do something, and get involved with us, because we would love to connect with more like-minded people. We want to grow a community of like-minded people and just spread the love, spread the positivity, and just let's see where this goes. That's all we're doing here. That's all we're doing, and we're going to keep doing that. The commitment's here. We're 11 weeks in,
Yeah.
and I'm more passionate now than on episode 1.
100%. Every time we meet up,
Yeah.
we just get into these moods and tangents where we just G each other up.
Yeah,
It's
and you
just
know,
great,
you spend the
Good
rest
energy.
of your week
Yeah.
going, yeah, I can do this. I can do anything I want. I smash it. I do this. I
Yeah.
do this. And then your reward is the people that are coming in and going, oh yeah, dude, I like what you're doing and this is cool. But the reward is also us chatting and going, we're building something here. And
That's
this is
it.
very exciting.
Well,
Yeah.
what you raise is an important point. You know, who you hang around. We hang around each other, and we're all after the same thing. We want to spread positivity. We want to be positive, and we want the most out of our life. And we want to challenge ourselves as well along
Definitely.
that journey. And that's through business, just through general life, through health, wealth, and wellness, essentially. So I think getting a core group of people together, you know, a team of people, of like-minded people, you and some other friends that want to do something, get together and do it. Have a discussion about it, put some action plans in place, and get it done. Honestly,
that's a big one.
it's the biggest thing that we've done. We
just
all
take action and do it.
Is set some goals, set some smart goals, and get it done. And if you fail, you fail. But at least you tried. Like,
don't care about what other people think. Like
you can
it's
get
a-
stuck in
you can
limbo.
get stuck in limbo.
and
I was there.
and years can go by.
I was there.
Like, if you set goals, it is powerful. It is powerful with what you can achieve by setting smart goals. Saying, this is what I want to achieve, this is how I'm going to achieve it, this is the accountability I'm going to implement and check, and I'm going to bring these people in to help me along and keep me accountable, and I'm going to aim for that. And then
That's
you
right.
watch that change within your life, and then you'll be like, wow, I didn't know that was possible. What else is possible? And then you just go from there.
Exactly.
That's right.
Yeah, it's like coming back to that Kevin Hart podcast, which we've discussed before. It's like unlocking those new levels in your life by just taking a bit of action, doing something, making yourself vulnerable. There's a lot of people watching this who might think we're flipping idiots.
Yeah.
And that's,
That's
fine
fine.
too.
Yeah.
Like, you know what?
Makes the
You
world
know,
go round, baby.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
but don't for one second think that if you are one of those people sitting there, you're going to stop us, because you ain't. We're going to keep going.
I mean, that's the beauty of human beings. We're all very, very similar, but we all have different tastes.
Yeah,
Some
exactly.
drink beer, some drink wine, some drink tea.
That's
Yeah.
right. And
Yeah.
you wouldn't want everything in life to be,
That'd be boring.
all roses and sunshine, you know. You
Yeah.
need to have that negativity to
Yeah.
show you all the positive things, and you need
I mean,
to
that's life.
It helps you with critical thinking,
It
essentially.
does.
as
Well, look
Yeah.
at coronavirus. We're all going to come out the other side of this, and I definitely think have a new appreciation for what normality is. Going traveling, you know,
Oh,
doing
yeah.
things on the weekend without any restrictions or any second thought about
Yeah.
what am I touching or doing this.
How
you
nice
know?
to just sit at a cafe and,
Yeah.
and have breakfast.
the
with some people.
appreciation for what you once had
Yeah.
is 10 times what it
There's
was.
definitely a lesson in that.
Yeah.
Is having that appreciation factor. You
Yeah.
know, if you just constantly have something and expect something, you're
Yeah.
not going to enjoy
Yeah.
it. And you know, there's kind of a delta between expectation and reality is kind of the measurement of happiness, and you really should be more mindful of what expectation you set, and to not get caught out into expecting things.
It creates anxiety.
That's why I love intermittent fasting and the like. You just learn to appreciate basic essentials like food. Or you just go out bush for a few days and then have a shower, and you're like, wow, this is the greatest
Turn
feeling.
the phone off.
Or try and walk for 80 Ks and then stop and sit down.
Honestly, when I got home that night, I had an ice bath, felt amazing. And when I went to bed, I was like, whoa, I appreciate this so much. I was so grateful. I was like, wow, I haven't hopped into bed before and just been like, wow, not that I earned it and it's owed to me, but I was in a space of damn.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing.
This feels really
That's
good.
me. That's me in sleep after being on planes, because I can never sleep on international flights. So whenever I travel,
Really?
I'm always awake for like 32, 38 hours straight.
Yeah.
And then I hit the pillow, and I'm like, yes. Because you almost get to that point where you're so tired, you're drunk.
Yeah.
Like you just don't know what's going on. You get angry, you get irritated. There's a graph that I've seen, which is I think it's so true. Whether it's like relationships, material things, whatever it is, it's your appreciation for the item before you have it, and it's like up here, while you have it, and it's down here, and then after it's gone, and it goes back up.
Yeah.
It just goes
We
to
all
show
want what we don't have.
we all want what we can't have, and then once we've had it and we don't have it anymore, we want it again.
There must have been some
Wonder what
And
the
that's
psychology
so-
is
that's
behind
so-
it.
some survivalist gene.
I don't know, but
'cause
it's
everyone.
true. But
everyone.
if you can train yourself to sort of appreciate what you've got while you've got it more than actually like when it's gone, or when you're actually looking forward to it. I mean, I think you need to look forward to it a lot, because it makes you work for the actual thing that you're going to get.
Yeah.
Whether it's a relationship, whether it's a car, or whatever it is, whatever you're after. You need to have that big up to get the thing. But then make sure once you've got it, you remember how much work you put in to actually get that thing.
It's such a control of emotion, I think, too. It's understanding the feelings that you're going to have.
Yeah.
Okay, once I have this, I think, I'm probably going to feel like this. Control that feeling.
Yeah.
Grasp it and go, okay, it's like a cloud passing by. Oh, this is what I'm feeling right now. Okay, that's cool.
And a lot of that,
Embrace it and let it go.
Yeah.
a lot of that is being present.
Yeah, exactly.
It's being present. It's experiencing the coffee. It's not expecting I need the coffee to get a bit of a kick.
Yeah.
It's like, hang on, this is a beautiful thing. Like, this grows in rare regions of the world, and it's well looked after, and they've picked the finest beans to cultivate and send here and process in a certain way, and then the barista's done this magical thing with these certain pressures and temperatures, and then when you taste it, you experience and appreciate everything that came to getting this coffee, and it's like, that's a different sip.
Yeah.
And I don't do that every sip.
No.
But
It's living in the moment and
Imagine
having
if you
gratitude for the moment.
Yeah.
it's living in
And
the
I
moment,
tell you
yeah.
what, coming back to this whole thing that we're doing, this has definitely done that for me as well, specifically. It's made me live in the moment a lot more than I was. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
So it just goes to show that when you change up your routine, or you try something new and you put your balls on the line, and it, because it's not just one person doing this. You're opening up to a couple of dudes, opening yourself up to the whole online space and all of your community and the things you're trying to do. That makes you present. Changing your routine makes you present. And it's something I think I was again making myself vulnerable. I was stuck there for like 2 years where I didn't change my routine. It was becoming dull. It was becoming this. And your mind gets stuck. Yeah. And then once you break out of it, you realize how crazy the world actually is in your head, that you can make it.
Yes.
You can realize that you can do anything. Yeah. It's insane. And the connections that you build, like I was saying before, it is so eye-opening. Yeah. So yes, massive encouragement to those people who are thinking about doing something. Just do it, man.
It's taking steps.
Don't let fear hold you back.
Taking steps to unlock your power. I think if anything, viewers, get 2 to 3 to 5 of your close friends that are passionate about life and wanting to do things good for the world. Create a Facebook group and start talking. Yep. Get together. If you're not in the same region, get together, have a video call, and just check in on each other.
Yeah.
And you'll be surprised what comes out of that. You'll be
Yep.
surprised what you learn from other people. Like catching up with Sam and Jason, always learning, always improving.
Always walk away with more knowledge than walking in, and feeling better as well.
Yep.
Like,
Exactly.
it's a great thing.
And you guys keep me in check and accountable for goals that I want to achieve, as I do with you guys.
Yeah.
And it's really good that you have that, because it helps you grow. And when a few weaknesses on your end come into play, they'll keep you in check and be like, hey, mate, like, have a think about this. And you're like, whoa, thanks for that critical thinking, mate.
Yeah.
You know, that other angle, the angle that you couldn't see because you had your blinkers on in one area, and then you're like, okay, that through a different lens,
Yeah.
it just looks a whole lot better.
And if they're your real mates that you're approaching, they'll understand completely where you're coming from.
yeah.
They won't give you shit for it.
Yeah, they'll
They're
wanna
not going to
help.
laugh at you. They'll either help or want to be a part of it, or just help you in whatever way they can to improve yourself and improve themselves. Because if they're on that journey which you think you want to go on in your
Yeah.
head and in your life, they'll join you.
Yeah,
Or they
that's right.
won't. And then
Yeah.
you'll quickly realize, hey, were they my real friends, or were they my drinking buddies, or were they,
Yeah,
what
exactly.
were they to me?
Yeah. Do we
at that
only
point in
hang
my
out
life?
when we drank? Wow.
Yeah.
I haven't thought about that. An Uber driver hit me with that one night. I was going to catch up with a mate, and he's like, "Oh,
He's
do you,
like, you only call me when you're
yeah."
drunk.
He's like, yeah. He's like, "Oh, do you only catch up with this guy when you drink?" And then I had to sit back and think. I'm like, "Yeah, actually, yeah, you
Yeah.
hit
No,
me-
but
hit
there's
the
nothing
nail
wrong
on
with
the
those
head."
mates either.
No,
But you probably wouldn't do this with
But
them.
it's a very masculine thing as well. It's like we historically need something like that as an excuse to catch up. It's like, well, you know, there's sport. Let's go and watch sport, and then we'll catch up and watch sport, or we'll have a beer and we'll catch up and we'll have a beer. There always just sort of needs to be something. It's like, nah, just catch
catch up.
Yeah.
Just drop in, have a chat,
Definitely.
talk about life,
Yeah.
talk about your feelings.
Yep.
It's a new world.
There's a new world. It's and it's great.
Yeah.
It is- it
it's
is
so
great.
much. It's so much better. Like I'm very much an advocate for like the new world, like the 21st century of, you know, workplaces, communities, all having a diversity of everything,
Yep.
and everyone just bringing something to the table, and, you know, I don't want to go into it too much, but having females in the workplace has completely changed the workplace for better. Like it's a more ethical environment. It's kind of hard to put in a short sentence, but it's a better thing.
Definitely.
Honestly, just the age of technology and everything that we're living in, like, it's crazy. We're probably living in one of the best generations.
You know, I was watching movies last night. I actually watched I got halfway through watching The Shining.
The Shining.
Yeah,
Great movie,
1980s.
Right. I haven't seen that.
Jack Nicholson.
You haven't seen it?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Hey,
Is it a horror?
Sam,
Yeah.
I hadn't seen it till last night, mate.
Really?
Yep. I knew all about it.
'Cause
Here's Johnny.
You see, you see the
Knew all about it.
The cult
But I hadn't
references.
actually watched it. Like, I
Yeah.
feel like through like social media and everything, like
What's
I
it
knew
about?
exactly what it was about. So it's about this guy who takes up the new like caretaking role at this hotel up in the Alps. And the guy in his role previously, like years and years back, ended up going crazy and killing his family in one of the hotel rooms. And I think it's like, I only got halfway through, but I think towards the end, I think he sort of takes on that role of going crazy and his son
Okay.
has what the guy in the movie called The Shining, where he can hear things and see people and
Right.
do that thing. I didn't watch the whole thing, but that's
Yeah.
what I gathered. Anyway, where I was going with that.
Yeah, I was about to
is-
say, where are you leading
So
this?
where I was going with that is I was looking at the technology that was used, like the cameras
Yeah.
even, and like how the writing was coming over the screen in the intro and the cars and
Yeah.
even just the acting and everything and how it was. And I'm not saying for back then it wasn't great, because it was spectacular. But like you think about now and the evolution of technology and the things we're able to do and access at a decent price that anybody can do. Everybody can
Yeah.
drive a car now. Everybody can buy a computer now. Like
It's
it's just such a
it's-
great time to be alive.
so many people say the world's the worst it's ever been type
Yeah.
thing, and I just say to them, put down your phone and stop looking at screens,
And you'll change
just
your mind. Yeah.
enjoy your community, go out
Yeah.
and talk to people,
Yeah.
have faith in humanity. It'll restore your faith in humanity.
Yeah. You know what I did recently as well? Because you just nailed it on the head there. I used to follow CNBC on Instagram.
Unfollow?
Man.
As soon as we started doing this whole Broadwater thing, because like before, like,
Yeah.
you know, I'm a finance like
Yeah.
dude. Like I love reading financial articles and like reading
Yeah.
about what's going on in the world. I just love to be aware of what's going on. I was reading these articles with like, oh yeah, geez, like getting really invested in what they're saying and now I look at it, I'm just like, oh, this is all just being written to sway me in one direction.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, it's
Literally.
polar.
And like
It's
every
polarizing.
time a CNBC article popped up, it's always negative.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like I found, but just by getting rid of CNBC out of my Instagram feed,
Yeah.
I was so much less critical about what was happening in the world.
Well,
I
there's
was
another
just-
action we can take, viewers.
Oh, it changed my
Get-
life.
yeah.
I was just like, I'm
Turn
reading
off
the
your
wrong
alerts.
media articles.
Turn off your alerts.
Yeah.
Anything impulsive, get rid of.
Yeah.
Anything that just makes you feel that bit of anxiety, that bit of angst, that worry, like
Get
just,
rid of
just
it.
get rid of it.
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
need it.
You don't.
You don't need
and
it.
and then be more controlling of it. It's like, well, you know, I do want to know what's happening in the world today, so I'm going to actively go and search this, and this, and read these. And
Yeah.
here's some journalists that I trust to have an unbiased set of information out there.
Yeah.
I'm going to listen and read and follow these things, but I'm going to choose when.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to wake up and get alerts to say red flags, the world's burning, and all this fear mongering that makes you click.
Yeah.
Because that's all they want you to do is
Exactly.
eyeballs onto the screen,
Yep.
and that makes them money.
Yep.
Once news went from, and news has probably always been biased and the like, but it probably wasn't as much propaganda as what we see today. But you look through history, and it was always connected to politics and wealth, and had an influence of controlling a narrative. Like look at the Vietnam War eras and things like that, and probably before then. But in any case, once it switched to the 24-hour news cycle and went online at a similar time, that's when it just got more and more desperate to be competitive with the other news agencies, where the 24-hour news cycle made it to be entertainment news. It was
Yeah.
trying to draw people
Police
in
chases.
and keep
Things like
watching
that.
it.
Yeah.
So they would just sensationalize everything, and then you're like, what? Why are we getting so excited about this article? Why is there so much red? Why is there so much fear mongering
Yep.
and exploitation and the
Yeah.
like in these articles? And then online, because I remember when it first news went from newspapers and TV being the main source to being online, and it was like you go and click on an article about, you know, just a general topic that you kind of want to know about, and then the bottom 4 articles below it was just garbage.
Yeah.
And it was, you know, like celebrity gossip.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And you click on it, and you're like, and then eventually that's all the news was. They were the main
Yeah.
headlines, and you're like, oh, you know, these evil news corporations are just spitting out garbage and gossip and sensationalizing blah. And it's like, they're a product of the environment we created. We clicked on it
Exactly.
at mass. And then they're like, well, people don't want to know these knowledgeable articles. They just want entertainment.
Yeah.
So that's all news is today. It's
Yeah.
it's like what reality TV's become. It's just this like scripted
It's an important point you
entertainment
raise.
that people just get sucked into, and it's like, oh, I
Yeah.
have to know now.
Well, it's like everything that we see on social media is like a manifestation of everyone's thoughts and actions in the world, essentially. Like, you know, TikTok. If you're scrolling that, people doing all these dances and all these things, and they're the main ones that come up. It's like, this is what everyone's thinking in the world, and they're liking this more than all this other important stuff.
Yeah.
It's a crazy.
I don't
crazy
know. I
world
don't know
we
what
live in.
to do with that, because it's like, is that what we've become? We just want to
Yeah.
see these.
We just want to see people twerking on cars.
Well, yeah. Yes and no. I think
Healthy balance.
I think healthy balance, because some things can be entertaining.
Yeah,
And you
for
do
sure.
need brain downtime.
You do,
And that
yeah.
brings you that.
Yeah.
I do think that we as young men talk about things that we're experiencing right now. And I think that you're talking of the likes of TikTok and that, and I'm not saying they're all 12s, but the majority of people on that platform are all kids.
True.
That's what they'd be doing in school, even not in front of a camera. Don't you remember playing SingStar? And don't you remember doing dances with your friends on video camera just for fun and making movies and stuff? It's exactly what we were doing, just not
No.
in the
No.
public eye. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I feel that, you know, the way we're starting to think is just a bit more, you know, of an adult's perspective.
Yeah,
and you know, I think if we start talking to adults, they're gonna go, yeah, dude, of course.
Exactly.
Yeah, dude, of course. So it's like it's all about our journey that we're going on as well. Like I said, we're not gurus, we're not experts. We're just a couple of, you know, 20-something-year-olds going through this journey and going, hey, damn, I'm experiencing this, and what do you think, bro? And like,
this
how's
is my
this?
perspective
This is
right
great.
now.
Yeah,
Let's
wow,
talk
I
about
feel
it.
empowered because of knowledge.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
And so, if you like, you do get to that point where like you do go from like one thing being entertaining, like the TikTok, like the Instagram, and whatever, to completely shifting to the whole community mindset. And you know, it's not about this or this or this. It's about trying to do good, and that's why we're here.
I think there's not enough of it in the world. Like, maybe I just haven't been exposed to it.
That's what I'm saying. Coming back to what you were talking about, I don't think it's not all eyes on the kids doing these dances on TikTok. There's a lot of good things happening in the world. You just got to find them, and they're not being reported because for whatever reason, that's not what's entertaining. Yeah. Like I watch a YouTuber, Ewan Olsen, who I'm sure if you're watching, you probably know about him. Absolute legend of a guy. You know, he creates these awesome vlogs, and he's been doing it for years and years and years. He'll go and do a good thing, like build a church in a third world country, and the video will get, you know, 750,000, 1 million views. That's still awesome. That's a lot of eyes watching him do a good thing. He posted another video of him, you know, the super yacht life in Ibiza, gets like 7 million views. And like even he talks about it, and he's just like, I hate YouTube. Yeah. Because like, you know, the thing that he gets most passion and enjoyment out of is doing good things. But that's not what people want to see.
Everyone wants the lifestyle.
Everybody wants to see what they can't have.
Their depiction of freedom.
Everybody can go and build a church in a third world country if you wanted to, instead of spending $5,000 on a holiday or just nights out on the piss over a year. Everybody could save up $5,000 and go and do something good for the world or whatever they wanted. Not everybody can go and rent a super yacht in Ibiza or have a friend who's got one in Ibiza and do that.
You know what another factor might be is I'd probably watch 8 YouTube clips a week, and a 14-year-old probably watches 1,000.
Yes.
So it's like the commodity of views is skewed to the young, youthful, kind of easy sell.
But they have time as well. They have time.
But the point is, that gets 7 million views, but it's 7 million 12, 14-year-olds. It's
What's the age demographic of people viewing this content?
I think it's between 18 and like 30 is his main audience. So you could dare say that's...
How do you know though? Like,
because he shares his stats sometimes.
How old are you? I'm 18. No one's going to say they're 12 when they're on YouTube. It's like, well, then you can't watch all these other
when
videos.
When Facebook first come out and everyone's like, yeah, I'm 18. We're all in grade 8.
That's true. That's true.
It's like, wow, Australia has 15 million 18-year-olds.
But like, we all consume content. We all consume content.
Oh, yeah.
So,
that's what we are. Human beings are information
and
consumers.
We touched on this in an earlier podcast where, you know, when you go out on the street, you basically have to deal with what comes in front of you, quite literally. You don't get to choose what's there. You know? When you're scrolling through your phone, you can literally choose what comes up on your screen. You can choose which pages to follow on Twitter, on Instagram, on YouTube, or whatever it is. You can choose the path that you're going online. You don't have to see all the bullshit. We choose to see the bullshit.
You can choose that path in life too.
When you're walking on the street. Pull out your Instagram.
Yeah.
Like the next 5 people that you haven't seen for a while, get them to pull out their Instagram and go to the homepage and just see how diverse it is.
Yeah.
It's I don't know, everyone I've done it with, it's just girls in bikinis. But like, I don't know, like, yes, we choose 100%, but there's also another narrative getting fed to us, especially things like TikTok, where it's, you know, Chinese propaganda, maybe. You know, it's owned by the Chinese
Don't get me
government.
wrong. I realize you can choose the pages you follow. You can't choose what advertising pops up in front of you.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't even know the difference between an advertisement or not.
When you're scrolling.
And suggested videos. And America's a great example of how polar it can get. Like, who you vote for is dependent on what media outlet you're watching. Like, I was there before the elections, and I listened to one radio station, and international news is very anti-Trump. I actually have no opinion one way or the other. But you listen to one radio station and you're like, yeah, gee, Hillary's gonna win this election for sure. And then you would listen to another radio station and you're like, yeah, Trump's got this in the bag.
Yeah.
Like it's so polarized.
Yeah. Just a random question based on, and again, I have no opinion about this. Based on what you've seen online, this will be an interesting test. Who do you think's going to win the upcoming election? Based on what you've seen in articles and just reading titles of articles and not even reading the full thing or looking at voting polls, what's your opinion?
Right now from what I've seen
Right
on
now from
social
what
media?
you've seen. Yeah, tell me. Who do you think's going to win?
Haven't seen a lot of propaganda about it.
I think Biden's
To be honest, I've seen more on Trump though. I've seen more on Trump with the propaganda.
From what
side.
I've seen, Biden's also going to win.
I think Biden's going to win. Yeah.
But I can
and
honestly,
I also think he's got Alzheimer's.
I can honestly sit here and tell you I don't know why I think Biden's going to win. It's only because of the titles of the articles I've seen while I'm scrolling.
Yeah.
A lot
And
of
who's
it.
writing
A lot
those
of it
articles?
was, and I don't want to get too controversial,
Yeah.
but the BLM movement was funding his campaign, and that had a big swing on the
They were using that capital
Public
to
opinion.
invest into marketing, was it?
to fund the campaign.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with politics is it requires a lot of funding, which makes it compromisable.
Yeah. And again, it's interesting. Like we said, we don't have an opinion on this. We're just once again tying this all up together into a nice little bundle. We've just spoken about a range of topics, but again, we're talking about one thing here. We're talking about critical thinking.
Yeah.
That's all we're doing here.
Like my Facebook newsfeed went from, say, 4 or 5 months ago that Trump's going to win to
Biden, that's mine
Trump's
too.
lost the plot and Biden's going to win.
Mine too. But
and that's just the narrative getting fed through my
Exactly.
newsfeed. I don't, like you said, I don't have an opinion one way or the other
Yeah.
because I don't have to go and vote.
I think
Yeah.
I've seen one piece that was structured for, is it Biden?
yeah.
Yeah, one piece that was structured for Biden, just really putting Trump in a negative space. But that's only one out of, I don't know how many I've scrolled past.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and
my feed's pretty pro.
and then you look
pro-Trump.
at Trump's Twitter, and he's like, oh, I'm getting lied about in the news again, and blah blah blah, and it's all fake news, and you just
Yeah.
don't know what's going on.
That's the hardest thing is
Yeah.
you don't know what is factual these days.
Yeah.
And
No.
that's where you go back to critical thinking being so important because, I still don't know what's factual, but I think I've done a lot of, like, listening to this person and then listening to the absolute opposing person, and then they'll link their arguments to logical sequences, and this person will just be running a loop of gibberish, and you're like, okay, I see more validity in this side of the discussion here, so I'm going to sway a bit more that way.
And what do we think about Kanye for president?
He's pulled out.
Has he?
Apparently, well, that's some articles I've seen again.
I saw an article recently saying he's been backed by the state. I think it was, correct me if I'm wrong, Oklahoma, where he could
mean,
actually be eligible to run for
he
president
said,
or
like,
something like that.
4 years ago he was
He
going to
did.
go, because I was going to
Yeah.
make the website, you can get URLs
Oh,
and then
yeah,
sell it.
and
And I was
buy
like,
the
I'll just
Kanye for
do
president.
KanyeForPresident.com.
2020,
Yeah,
something
yeah.
like that, and
Buy this, Kanye.
make a buck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I saw The Rock also.
He should be, yeah.
Yeah.
If any celebrity, he'd be up there.
Yeah, what a G that guy is.
Even like Kevin Hart, we should be more in politics, I reckon. Like he's got.
Well,
a
he's
pretty
making
big
enough of
opinion
an
on-
influence. He doesn't need to be in politics.
Yeah.
I think he'd rather stay clear of politics.
That makes sense because it's so polarizing.
Yeah.
There.
When you
Once-
listen to
once
Kevin
you run
Hart,
the
he
party.
does like stick into his strengths
Yeah.
a lot.
I think, to be honest, he's probably making more of a difference to the community, the world's community, doing what he's doing than being a politician.
It's a transformative influence. It's like,
Yeah.
well, we need this community is broken,
Yeah.
and we need to teach this community to fix itself from within.
And that's exactly what he's doing with he's doing like financial education for underprivileged in
Yeah.
America.
Yeah.
That's exactly what he's trying to do.
He's just released a book as well, I think.
Yeah, he does so many
Yeah,
things.
I
I can't
forget
even
what the
keep
title is,
track.
but I wouldn't mind giving it a read, actually.
yeah.
Yeah, he's really... Actually, he's been in the spotlight a fair bit recently.
Man,
he's been pushing a
I
lot.
still remember his growth journey from like when I first watched him on the All-Star Comedy Jam.
Yeah, right.
which was his sort of like big time moment of like, my life's never going to be the same again.
Yeah. Where he was making it.
Yeah, where he made it in comedy, and then he went into acting, and then now he's doing so many different things, and he is just basically an iconic figure in so many different industries: comedy, movies, animation, fitness. He's one of those guys where he's just taken life by the balls, and he's doing the exact same thing I feel like we're trying to achieve. He's just trying to put positivity back into the world.
Yeah.
And for no other reason
Yeah.
than just because that's what he feels he needs to do.
And he thinks we all have the power to do it too.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he's been at the lowest of lows.
I mean, they're the people to really listen to. Is people that have
Been there, done that.
been there, done that, come from nothing and made something,
Yeah.
and been really, you know, grounded and gone through and fallen over and got back up, and there's a lot of knowledge in those people.
Yeah.
There's another thing. There's a video I sent you guys during the week, and you guys have probably seen this. It's had like 1 million views on YouTube. It's this old guy. I think he's sitting in his motorhome in the first video. He does like a follow-up video 3 years later, and the title is "Advice from an Old Man." And I've never heard an old person in my life speak the way he did. He came from literally nowhere. I think he got kicked out of school in grade 10. His parents just left him on the street. Ended up working at a gas station for $1 an hour, and he was working 90-hour weeks. And, you know, he was stealing from grocery stores to try and eat. He was living out of the back of his car, and he was basically saying, you know, I think he's 80 something now, but he just made a video to young people, and he said, young people, this is my journey. Like, I'm a successful man. I'm not a wealthy man. He's just like, you know, I've been able to retire comfortably from coming from absolute nothing. He's like, I love young people. You need to keep learning. He's just like, you will never get anywhere in your life if you stop learning. The world changes. You need to keep up if you want to make a difference. Young people are the backbone of the new world that's coming. You are the ones to make the change away from what's happening, like, you know, with big oil companies and the like, and corruption. And, you know, we got to save the ocean, save the air, do whatever the hell we can to preserve this planet. And he says that, young people, wake up. You keep learning, you keep moving forward, you keep making a difference. Because I've been there, I've done that, I've had to learn the hard way everything about what this world is all about. Yeah. And this is how it works, and you need to make a change.
Yeah.
And there is so much knowledge out there. And it really is just filtering through all of the distractions and getting to the knowledge and having that focus to absorb it all.
Yeah.
And then if you think that might have been a narrative that's pulling you some way, then find the opposing version of it over here. But
understand,
educate yourself on what are we doing to the world with the environment and the climate, and what are, you know, some humanitarian situations over here, and how does this government work versus this government, and which one's better, and what's better about that one, and you know, you'll learn, you'll read something and not understand it, and then other things will happen, and then it will make sense, and you're like, oh, okay, now I get that. Yeah. And years will go on, and then you're like, hang on, I'm actually a little bit smart now. Like, I was always just, you know, not that smart and dumb and could barely read, but I get it. I'm understanding it. Like, I found a way to learn that. And then once you realize how you learned that, you'll apply that over here.
Learning how to learn.
Learning how to
big.
And
massive.
being
Massive.
a good student too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Putting your
Enthusiasm.
ego aside and being a good student.
Yeah.
Focus.
Not saying, oh yeah, I know that. I know this. I know that.
Yeah.
It's sitting back and going, actually, I don't know what this is.
Yeah.
Can you please enlighten me as to what that is?
And it's not about your opinion. It's not about where you are on your journey. No one's judging you on what's going on in your own head, because they can't see it unless you share it.
That's right.
It's not.
So when you're going down that journey, it doesn't matter what opinion you have. It's as long as you have that ability to critically think and understand why you think something. If you turn around one day and somebody brings up a topic of discussion and you think a certain way, stop for a second before you open your goddamn mouth, because we all do it. Stop and say, well, why do I think that?
Exactly.
Is it because that's what my parents told me? Is it because that's what the media told me?
Did I just
Is it because that's what my school told me?
I read this article.
Did I just hear this on the news
it's
10
like,
minutes
why
ago?
do I actually think that?
Yeah.
If you can answer that question, then open your mouth.
Yeah.
Mm.
But before you do, also make sure you are listening to
Yes,
that opposing
of
opinion,
course.
and not just kind of trying to get in and start your what you know to be correct.
Yeah, yeah. Like, are you becoming the result of you and your own critical thinking, or are you becoming a result of what the world wants you to be?
Yeah.
It's a good question to ask yourself.
It is a good question to ask.
Yeah, and they're transformational conversations.
Yes,
They're very
And
deep
when-
conversations.
very deep.
And a lot of people lose when they argue instead of having a discussion on
And
this
learning
is your
something.
opposing opinion.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Mm.
Why is that
Yeah.
your opinion? Where
Yeah.
did you get that information
Yeah.
from, and how has that influenced
Yeah.
your life?
Arrogance and ego keeps you suppressed.
That's the whole thing.
Mm.
It's this growth and knowledge isn't about feeding your ego and growing your ego. It's about feeding your spirit and growing your spirit.
Yep,
100%.
100%.
Growing your values, growing the core of who you are, deeper understanding of life
Yeah.
and its mission. I think I personally, get into these moments of deeper understanding when I do just honestly get out of the city and just go sit on the farm and chill out.
There's some
Have a
great
campfire and
online
relax.
quizzes where you just Google like self-awareness quiz and things like that, and it'll just ask you some questions, and what it does is it just puts you in, it gives you a tool to self-reflect and learn about who you are right now and who do you want to be, and then start your goals, build your goals on how to get there. Like, a lot of people never sit down and say, who am I right now? What are my values? What are my true values? A lot of people just live their life through their friends' values or values of the majority. It's like, well, hang on, no, what are my values? It's a great
That's a
thing
big
to
one.
do. It's a
Yeah.
great thing to do. Like, you walk out of it feeling amazing.
Yep.
Mm.
Be
There's so much more enthusiasm in
be the maverick in your own life.
Yeah.
Be the one who's leading
Yeah.
your thoughts and your decisions. Don't let other people do it for you.
Yeah, you have to be.
Yep.
And that's the challenge we all have to face, and we all have to rise up against our negativity and face our battles
Yep.
and push forward and be our own maverick.
Yep.
And it takes a lot to do that. You
It
got to
does.
really dive
Yeah.
into
'Cause
a lot,
you need
a lot
to
of demons
use
that
it
you
as
don't,
fuel.
yeah,
100%.
that you don't want to see.
because it makes
fuel.
you look yourself in the mirror,
Yeah.
and it's scary.
No one likes looking at himself
No
in the
one.
mirror.
No one. Well, yes and no. Like, it's satisfying when you do turn around one day after many years and go, oh, I've changed.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's a good feeling.
I think we all have that. You look back and you're
Yeah.
like, damn, I was,
Yeah,
a little bit immature back when
Definitely.
I was 20.
definitely.
Yeah, and the reality
But
is
that's life.
a lot
That's
of it.
life.
A lot of it is hard work and takes a lot of time.
It is.
There's not that
Yeah.
quick fix, that quick pill, and
Yeah.
if someone's selling you it,
Yeah.
they're scamming.
And
you.
life's not
Yeah.
easy, man. It's full of challenges.
Yeah.
That's why you need to build that mental sustainability for the long haul. And you
For
need
sure.
to
Yeah,
understand
massively.
what it means to go
Mm.
through challenges and come out the other side and don't give up.
Persistence and grit.
experience and that knowledge absorption allows you to have a cooler head in crisis,
Yeah.
because you can sort of see the bigger picture of it, and you're like, oh, okay, I know where this is heading and this is where we need to go, and you
Mm.
become a leader. You become someone that people turn to, and they're like, hey, why are you so calm when everyone
Mm.
else is freaking out? And you're
Mm.
like, well, I just
Yeah.
let's try it this way.
One
Yeah.
of the biggest things I've noticed is in terms of velocity and momentum. So you might be sitting at home, right? I've even done this where you go through a period where you're just being pretty lazy and slack.
Huh.
And all your thoughts and all your emotions and all your actions are really slow. So your momentum's slow, your velocity's slow, everything's just sluggish.
Yeah.
Soon as you start picking up momentum and your velocity increases, so does all your positive actions
Yep.
and your outcomes
And it's
and the people you
addictive.
meet. Yeah, it
Yep.
gets addictive. You get in this state of flow and movement, and once you keep that up, really good things happen.
Yep.
And then that's when you get to these points in life where you're like, oh, wow, I'm here now. Jeez. And then people go, dude, how did you do that? And you're like, oh, well, I did this,
I
this,
put
and
one,
I
I
made this,
put
and then I
one
did
foot
that.
in front of the other.
Exactly. It's just keeping that momentum
Yeah.
and velocity
Yeah.
in motion.
And it's great to pull people out of their ruts and bring them along, and then you'll fall into a rut, and then
Mm.
they're there to pull you out of the
That's
rut.
it.
Because life's got obstacles. You'll go
That's
through
why,
those moments of sluggishness, and it'll compound and
Build your
and
team.
like
Yeah.
don't be afraid to
Build
ask
your
for help.
team.
build your team.
Yep.
Build your team, people. Build
Yep.
your team.
Yep.
Exactly. Well, I think that's been a really good chat. And just once again, to wrap it all up, again, a range of topics today, but Broadwater, cultivating positivity through health, wealth, and wellness in our community, trying to do some good things while teaching critical thinking. Get yourself on that path, get yourself some good people around you, and
That's
level
it.
up.
Yeah, and if you don't have those people around you, just talk to people. Like restore a bit of faith in humanity, whatever it might be. If it's the guy serving you coffee or whatever, like just start those conversations and don't be afraid to fall over.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Health, wealth, and wellness, baby. Let's get it.
That's it.